and welcome to another episode of All About Art with the ENS Gallery. I'm Kathy.
And I'm Walter. And what are we doing today?
Today we're going to have fun because we're not going to Zoom. We're going to be in the studio, in the gallery, I'll say, with
the man. Coming out of Louisville, Kentucky, we're going to have Ed Hamilton.
Dun, dun, dun.
Whoa, I can't wait. I really can't wait. This is our first
in gallery.
All About Art in gallery, huh, babes?
Yeah, in gallery. And we're excited because he's one of the coolest dudes you'll see. And he is an amazing sculptor.
Yes, he is.
So stay tuned. We're going to have more right after this.
Is your home missing something? You'll find it at ENS Gallery. Nothing completes a home like the perfect collection of art. From sculpture to paintings to custom framing, you'll find it at ENS. Stop by the gallery located at 108 South 10th Street, near the corner of Main. And as always, thanks for saying yes to ENS.
Okay guys, we are back and we are in the gallery, actually in the presence of the monumental man.
Ed Hamilton, the man.
Thank you.
Hey Ed, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. Glad to be at my favorite gallery, my favorite agents.
Well,
I
we're
love
glad
this.
to be face to face.
No doubt about it.
It's great to have all this talent right here in Louisville because we're not Zooming today. You're actually with us.
Right.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Hey, God is good. I'm blessed.
That's a good
I ain't complaining.
Well, that's what happens when you're talented. You've been here for a while, and you've had a great amount of monuments from New York to California.
Talk about the spirit of freedom. For those who may be watching and are not familiar, this was the first.
This is the actual first federal monument in Washington, D.C. What made this piece, it was one of the statements in the committee, a reverend from D.C. said he hoped that whoever would get this project would be able to include family somehow.
Okay.
Not really knowing how that would go about, but he thought it might be important for the artist, whoever would get it, to include family. So when I got back to Louisville, as I had already designed the semicircular piece, I thought it was just going to be a void on the backside. Okay.
Yeah, right.
And I really didn't pay any attention to the backside. I put all my emphasis on the front.
Right.
Dealing with the three soldiers and the sailor, because they wanted not only honor the soldiers, but they also wanted to honor the 70-some odd thousand colored sailors that fought for the Union. Well, when I got back, as I said, I started doing a little drawing, and I put a little person behind on my drawing, and I said, oh, that. I did another little drawing, then I did another, and all of a sudden, it looked like a little family was growing back there.
Okay.
So when I did the actual small clay version, that's when I mocked it up.
And used the families and the other soldiers.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they were in support of the family, and the family's on the backside.
I had a question also about the scale of the actual bronze in Washington, D.C. Is it like a life size, or is it 3/4 life, half life size? What?
I wanted to keep the figures actual life scale.
Wow. Okay.
And what makes it even more monumental in scale is because of the way it's drafted, the background, the curvature draft. See, it actually started out as a flag shape. Okay. But then once I got into it, I didn't really want it to become a flag. I wanted it to be this spiritual essence, this movement that these guys are coming out of. Okay. But everything is actual scale. Yeah. I borrowed the reenactors that did the Glory movie.
Okay.
I borrowed a rifle from those guys.
Wow.
And we modeled the rifles, the the flintlock rifles from
So
those
everything-
actual rifles. So everything is authentic.
Authentic.
Did you plan for that spirit to be there?
Not in the beginning. It wasn't there. It was only after I enlarged the piece and as I was working on it. You know, artists like to fill up space. So I knew these guys would pray every night. You know, they'd have their little prayers and things going, you know, singing their soulful songs before they knew they were getting ready to go into battle. So I went to the Bible and I tried to find the right verse, psalm that spoke to what I was trying to do. It was the 91st Psalm. For he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under thy wings shall I trust.
Wow. So that was ideal.
So I had to justify that to the Commission on the Arts, because nothing goes through Commission on the Arts that it wasn't there before, you can't come back and put something else, you see. So I had to justify that in writing to them, and you know, they had no problem with it. They had no
So
problem.
that whole thing.
So that's why it's called the Spirit of
the
Freedom.
spirit
I'm
of
sorry.
freedom.
Okay.
And that whole theme, it's even though Amistad is first, you still have a spiritual element in this sculpture as well. Talk a little bit about that
The
Amistad.
Amistad, Joseph Sinke, aka Sinbei PA,
Okay.
the Spaniards who had the La Amistad schooner could not pronounce his name. So that's why they called him Sinke. But they couldn't pronounce it as Sinbei PA for some reason. But anyway, long story short, kidnapped out of Sierra Leone, 53 Africans of Mende origin. So what I wanted to do was to create not only in my research the Mende helmet mask that they used for the Bunta society for women. That was what those masks represented. You know, they made these.
Wait a minute, Ed. We've had this sculpture in our collection, at least 12
A few
years,
years.
and I am just now seeing the mask in there. I tell clients every time I look at it, I see something different, but this is incredible.
So I realized that there were three elements to this story. One, the kidnapping itself out of Sierra Leone.
And that's
Two, sequestered in New Haven, Connecticut, locked up in the jail, okay? Then having to go through the courtroom trials. And then ultimately, once the courtroom trials were settled, the Supreme Court trial was settled by John Quincy Adams. They said, you're free.
Okay.
Then the third side is the going home side.
So guys, these are the pieces that add interest, not only interest to your collection, but actual historical facts that you can share with your friends, you can pass down to your family. So as you're looking to collect historical pieces by Ed Hamilton.
Ed Hamilton in the house.
And one final piece that you have with you today that we want to talk about quickly
Big
is
medicine.
York.
York, yeah, big medicine.
Big medicine.
Now, York stands 8 feet tall downtown on the Belvedere, the waterfront.
Downtown Louisville, Kentucky.
Downtown Louisville, Kentucky. It all started because he was the slave of William Clark. When Thomas Jefferson, the president, procured Meriwether Lewis to put together an expedition to go through the Louisiana Purchase territory, looking for a trail to the northwest, okay? Meriwether Lewis contacted William Clark and said he wanted to be co-captain. So they put together what they call a team of discovery, a corps of discovery group of men, and we can only surmise that William Clark told York, pack our bags and let's go.
That's right, yeah.
He didn't have no say-so which way or another. Anyway,
Right.
but long story short, what we found out through the journals that were discovered in an attic, in an old chest, old trunk.
Okay.
Meriwether Lewis and William Clark kept journals. And that's the only way we know about York, because had those journals never been discovered, there would have been no documentation on who this black man was on Lewis and Clark expedition. Jim Holmberg, who was the one that deciphered the journal, contacted me, said, "Ed, we want to do a monument of York." I said, "Oh, that's great, Jim. Who's York?"
Exactly.
And then
What he should look like. He would have been a second, third generation slave, born on the plantation in Virginia. York and Clark grew up together as children, and yet the dynamics changed once you got that certain age, and he became his manservant.
And the significance of York in that journey that's left out of history, which I always say there shouldn't be black history, because this is American history that's been hidden. So tell us about that.
That's what I say on the video that we made, that this is about American history.
American history.
York did just as much as everybody else did on that expedition, and then some. Okay. The only reason why he got the moniker Big Medicine was because up in the Native American territories, the Arauca Indian area, they'd never seen a black man before. But here's what happened. The Indian chiefs, when they would go on hunts and come back successful, they put on coke, black coke. So
a lot of tribes and Indians wouldn't have even allow them to continue if it wasn't.
If it hadn't been for York.
York.
Yeah, they would have got wiped out, because some expedition before that were killed, going through those territories. Wow. But because they put York out front, and York came along, they passed on.
Very significant information.
No doubt about it.
That's going to be a lot for us to think about as we leave. And on that note, Ed.
We appreciate you, man, and being right here in our hometown. We couldn't have done better, and it's wonderful to be able to represent your work nationally. And we're going to show you other work by Ed, and actually the piece that is setting in between us. We'll give you information on when you go to our website.
So that's it. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, it's time to buy some art. And the first piece is Spirit of Freedom, Civil War Memorial by Ed Hamilton. A limited edition bronze. It's 15 inches high, 9 inches wide, 6 inches deep, bronze mounted on a marble base, $15,000 shipped. And next we have the Amistad Memorial, limited edition bronze, 15.5 inches high by 8 inches deep by 5 inches wide, edition size of only 100. This piece, $12,000 including shipping. And we have York, Big Medicine. This piece stands an impressive 19 inches high by 10 inches wide, 12.5 inches deep, and it's mounted on a sheetrock designed base. Your price shipped $10,000. And yes, you can make payments on any of these. Give us a call at 502-568-2005 to inquire. Well, that was an informative interview with Ed Hamilton.
I like that a lot. I really did. Wow, that guy does a great amount of research before he starts a project, and he will show you what he meant.
And this piece, which we had with us during the interview, this is one of the bas-reliefs from the actual Lincoln Memorial. So when you come see ENS in Louisville, Kentucky, we'll take you down to the waterfront where you'll see this guy in person.
where you will, along with Big Medicine that is on the waterfront also.
York.
And York. So when you come to Louisville, make sure you get a chance to, first come to ENS Gallery, and we'll show you the rest.
And
As always,
thanks for saying yes,
to
ENS.
ENS.